It's Miss Caitlin, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. We're starting a new series, Work in Progress, Redo, Rewrite, and Restore. It's all about forgiveness. Do you know what forgiveness means? It means deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. With God's help, we can free ourselves from being angry and can give the other person an opportunity to rewrite the story. We start the month with an interesting moment from Jesus' life found in Luke 7:36-50. We find Jesus at the home of a Pharisee. While Jesus was there, a woman with a bad reputation stopped by with an expensive jar of perfume. She cried and used her tears to wash Jesus' feet, then anointed them with perfume. The Pharisee was upset that Jesus would let a woman like this near him. Jesus responded with a parable to explain why this woman had honored him so much. She understood something about forgiveness that the Pharisees missed. Remember, everyone needs forgiveness. Now, let's show God how grateful we are that He always forgives by standing up and praising Him.
Yeah. Come on. Let's go. I know I'm gonna make mistakes in this life I live, but you never leave me. You forgive. I won't always get it right. It's alright, 'cause no matter what I do, I'm always loved by you. In the morning time, I'm gonna sing. God, you make me smile when you're doing your thing. I'm thankful for the way you set me free and all of the ways that you love me. I know I'm gonna make mistakes in this life I live, but you never leave me. You forgive. I won't always get it right. It's alright, 'cause no matter what I do, no matter what, I'm always loved by you. In the morning time, I'm gonna sing. God, you make me smile when you're doing your thing. I'm thankful for the way you set me free and all of the ways that you love me. In the morning time, I'm gonna sing. God, you make me smile when you're doing your thing. I'm thankful for the way you set me free and all of the ways that you love me. Let's take 'em to the bridge. God, you're never giving up on me. God, your love is all I'll ever need. You're all that we need. In the morning time, I'm gonna sing. God, you make me smile when you're doing your thing. I'm thankful for the way you set me free and all of the ways that you love me. In the morning time, I'm gonna sing. God, you make me smile when you're doing your thing. I'm thankful for the way you set me free. Yes, we are. And all of the ways that you love me. I'm thankful for the way you set me free. And all of the ways that you love me. Sing it again. And all of the ways that you love me.
Welcome to Story Lab. This week, we're talking about forgiveness. While we take a look at the story of someone who knew just where to go with her messy life. Hey, I'm Skylar.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're talking about forgiveness, which is deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay.
Speaking of forgiveness,
Yes,
you know how we're all works in progress?
of course.
And you remember that beaker full of delectable M&Ms that you left on the counter yesterday?
Oh, right, thanks for reminding me. I totally want a snack right now.
Yeah, about that.
Wait, that's the beaker that the M&Ms were in?
This is the beaker.
Where are the M&Ms? You did not eat an entire beaker full of M&Ms!
I was only gonna munch on a handful, but they kept calling to me.
if you ate all of my M&Ms?
I feel terrible.
Bet your stomach did too.
True story. I'm really, really sorry. I'll get you some more.
I forgive you.
Thank you. I'm gonna get you some more, I promise.
Cool. But I know something we can do with it first.
Something better than M&Ms?
Yep. Let's make it. Step 1. Take a candle and place it in the center of the dish. Step 2. Put a few drops of light food coloring in a container of water.
Because around here, we love food coloring.
Then, pour the water in a shallow glass dish until it just covers the bottom. Step 3. Light the candle.
Grown-up alert, grown-up alert.
Yes, make sure you have a grown-up present.
Or you may accidentally do something that requires a lot of forgiveness.
That was a little dramatic.
Yeah.
Step 4. Cover the candle with a glass beaker.
A conveniently empty glass beaker.
Then the final step is you're going to put a few drops of dark food coloring around the rim.
What's with the water? It's all getting sucked up into the beaker.
Pretty cool, huh?
What just happened?
Science!
As the flame consumes oxygen, the pressure inside the beaker is decreased, while the pressure outside the glass stays constant. Since the outside pressure is greater than the inside pressure, the water gets pushed up into the beaker.
Taking away the water in the dish.
Oh, just like how forgiveness takes away all the bad things you've done.
I see what you did there.
I love a good visual.
It's time for...
The story before the story.
Today, we're in Luke, the 3rd book in the New Testament. But before Luke, in the very beginning, out of a deep, deep love, God made an amazing world. But when people turned away from God, the world was broken.
God made a plan to draw people back into relationship. So, at the right time, God sent a tiny baby to be born in the small town of Bethlehem. God's very own son, Jesus. When Jesus grew up, he began to travel from town to town, teaching and healing. And while most people loved him, the religious leaders grumbled.
That Jesus was changing the way they'd always done things. And they didn't like it. One bit.
Which is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Chloe.
Hey, Chloe.
The religious leaders, some called Pharisees, were keeping a sharp eye on Jesus. They weren't completely sure about him yet. So, one of them, a man named Simon, invited Jesus to have dinner at his house. But even though Simon gave Jesus the honor of inviting him for dinner, Simon left out something important. See, at this time, everyone wore sandals, no socks. And when they walked the city streets, they got whatever was on those streets all over their feet. Use your imagination. Ugh. So, usually when a guest came to your house, servants would wash their feet right away. As a sign of honor, you might give them a kiss and anoint their head with oil. But Simon didn't do any of this for Jesus. And someone noticed. A woman from town had heard Jesus was going to be at Simon's home. She lived a difficult life and done many wrong things, but she knew that Jesus' love and mercy were greater than her sins. She desperately wanted to see Jesus, so she came to Simon's house and saw where Jesus sat at the table. Now, you've got to understand something about how people sat to eat at this time. Tables were low down, so you actually sat on the floor. In fact, you might even lie down on your side with your head over here by the table and your feet back over here behind you. The woman had bought an expensive container of perfume to pour on Jesus' feet as a sign of love and honor. She must have thought it was terrible that no one had offered to wash his feet and wanted to do it herself. But she didn't have water or a towel. So this woman actually used her own tears to wash Jesus' feet and wipe them with her hair. It seems strange to us, but it was an incredible sign of this woman's love and devotion. After washing Jesus' feet, the woman kissed them Then she took the perfume she'd bought and poured it out over them. As the strong, sweet smell of perfume filled the room, Simon and the other guests watched the woman. They were shocked by what she was doing. Simon said to himself,
"If this man were a prophet, he would know who was touching him. He would know what kind of woman she is. She is a sinner."
Simon thought this inside his own head, but Jesus knew exactly what Simon was thinking. So he told a story to help Simon understand.
Simon, I have something to tell you.
Tell me, teacher.
2 people owed money to a certain lender. One owed him 500 silver coins. The other owed him 50 silver coins. Neither of them had the money to pay him back, so the lender let them go without paying. Which of them will love him more?
The room was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. At last, Simon spoke.
I suppose the one who owed him the most money.
You are right. Do you see this woman? I came into your house. You did not give me any water to wash my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You did not give me a kiss, but this woman has not stopped kissing my feet since I came in. You did not put any olive oil on my head, but she has poured this perfume on my feet.
Wow! Simon got called out! Simon had invited Jesus out of curiosity, but he hadn't shown him any love or respect.
This woman's many sins have been forgiven. She has shown that she understands this by her great acts of love. But whoever has been forgiven only a little, loves only little. Your sins are forgiven.
Excuse me. Who is this who even forgives sins?
The other guests whispered and exclaimed in shock, but Jesus smiled at the woman with deep love in his eyes.
Your faith has saved you. Go in peace.
The room was filled with religious leaders who were quick to call the woman a sinner. But they didn't look at their own lives. They didn't see their pride and hard hearts needed forgiveness just as much as the things this woman had done. The end.
I gotta be honest, all the feet washing and perfume stuff seems a little bit strange, but she was all in for Jesus.
Exactly. She saw how much she needed Jesus.
All the religious leaders missed it. They thought they had it all together.
They didn't think they needed Jesus or his forgiveness.
So, what's our part in this story?
Jesus made it clear. Everyone needs forgiveness. Not just the guy who robbed a bank or the school bully.
All of us have done things wrong. We've all messed up.
And those wrong things, big and small, have broken our relationship with God. They make us feel far away from God.
We all need forgiveness.
It's why God sent Jesus to be here on earth with us. Jesus showed us how to live. He's the only one who never sinned. And then Jesus laid down his life for us.
When Jesus rose to life again, sin and death were defeated.
When you choose to follow Jesus and ask God for forgiveness, God wipes away the wrong things that you've done. God looks at Jesus' perfect life instead of your sins and says that you don't have to pay for those sins anymore.
That's the most amazing thing ever.
So don't miss this. You've done wrong things. You need to be forgiven.
But because of Jesus, God is ready and willing to forgive you and wipe away the wrong things you've done right this second.
That's amazing.
Enjoy! See you next time!
Bye, Chloe.
So here's the thing. Everyone needs forgiveness.
Just like you forgave me for the M&Ms.
Wow, thank you.
Can I have a few?
A few. Okay. Thanks for joining us in the Story Lab.
See you next time.
what's your first response when someone wrongs you? Do you shout out whatever pops in your head? Hey, look where you're going! Or maybe you keep your mouth shut and just give them a glare that could wilt daisies. You might even spend your afternoon thinking up creative ways to get back at them. I could totally empty the ketchup bottle and put in hot sauce, and they'll totally burn their mouth when they eat a burger. Yeah. When you get hurt, it's really easy to hold on to the pain, sometimes for days or months or even years. You just want to see them pay for what they did. But it's like allowing a bad seed to take root. And if you don't dig out the hurt, it can turn into deeply rooted bitterness. Trouble is, holding on to pain doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. That's where forgiveness comes in. Forgiveness is deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. It is not saying that what that person did is okay, but it says that you're giving payback to God. Forgiveness is a decision and also a process. Sometimes you have to give the situation back to God over and over. But when you trust God for strength to forgive and root out bitterness, you make room for beautiful things to grow. Things like peace, joy, and compassion. And the very first step, ask God to wipe away the wrong things you've done. God will always forgive. Then you can pass that same forgiveness on to those around you. That's why forgiveness is an amazing way to worship God with your life. Because worship is about more than just singing loud. It's all about living loud.
Hello. Welcome to Creating with John Ross. I'm John Ross. It's funny how that worked out. Today we're finishing up our mosaic. It's been a long process, but very rewarding. We'll take one of our happy little circles here and give it a little pat. Thank you, little circle. You're going to bring joy to so many people. What's that, little circle? You're saying you're glad you're not a square? I'm glad you're not a square either, because then you'd be useless. We're going to place you right here, little friend. Oh, don't you look cheerful? A cheerful little circle. Now I think you just need a couple more friends, and we'll be all finished. Hi. How are you? Oh, you're very round today. One more. We're getting so close to the end now. You can feel the excitement from all of our little circle friends.
Hi. This looks like fun,
Thank you,
John.
Brandon. We're almost finished with our happy little mosaic here.
Oh, do you mind if I
No,
put one
Brandon,
on?
that would be just great.
There. That looks happy.
So happy.
Glimpses of Me by John. It was an ordinary day. I was about to do another episode of the So-and-So Show when Brandon walked in the door.
Hey, John. Sorry I'm late. How's it going?
Whoa!
What?
Well, I literally just typed, Brandon walked in, and then you walked in.
Oh. What are you doing? You writing a book?
Oh, well, maybe. We'll see where it goes.
Hey, you should write a mystery. Mysteries always do well.
That's a great idea. Yes. You know what? I'll think I'll write one of those classic mysteries, from the 1940s. Something a little more old, so that it... Brandon? Okay. It was a dark and stormy night. Whoa. Brandon walked in through the door.
Hiya, John. What's cracking?
He took one step and tripped on a roller skate.
What? What are you talking about? What? What in the world? Who put this there? Why, I oughta.
All right. Oh. Okay, let's try again. Brandon walked in through the door holding a freshly baked cake.
Hey, John. I baked you a cake. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. What kind of cake is that?
It's coconut. Don't you like it?
No, thanks.
Man, now what am I going to do with all this cake? Why did I do that?
Who can say?
I baked you a cake. It's chocolate.
Delicious, I bet. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I'll finish it later.
Why? Have you got other plans?
You better believe it.
I would do anything for John, like buy him chips and other snacks. Yes, I would do anything for John, even dress up like a cat.
Oh, yeah! No.
Meow.
Yep. We got you. Enough of that.
I don't know about you, John, but I am exhausted, and I have no idea why. What?
It's Bible story time with Kellen.
You guys have had an interesting day.
Not really. Haven't done much. What have we done?
You got a story for us today, Kellen?
Of course.
Seriously, I can't remember anything about the
Then
show.
take it away.
You know, there's nothing like being given a do-over, a fresh start, a clean slate, which is what today's Bible story is all about. It is a story about when Jesus was invited to have dinner at a home of a Pharisee named Simon. A Pharisee was an expert in God's law. They loved rules, which is great, but sometimes they thought that they were better than other people. But still, Simon invited Jesus, so Jesus went to dinner at Simon's house. Now, there was a woman in town who had lived a sinful life. She heard Jesus was close by, so she went to the house, found Jesus, and did something a little unusual. She started to clean Jesus' feet. Well, I'm pretty sure they did not have vacuum cleaners, but the woman did sit on the floor and clean Jesus' dirty, sandaled feet. And not with a bowl of water and a washcloth. She washed Jesus' feet with her own tears and dried them with her own hair. Yep, you heard me right, with her own hair. And before you wonder if this was a common practice back then,
It was not. She also kissed Jesus' feet and poured perfume on them. She was truly honored to be in the presence of Jesus. On the other hand, Simon was not okay with what he saw happening in his house. He said to himself, if Jesus really were a prophet, he'd know the woman touching him was a sinner. So, Jesus told Simon a story about two different people who owed a man money. One owed the man 50 coins, and one owed 500 coins. Neither person had enough money to pay the man back. So, the man let both people go without paying. So whether they owed 50 coins or 500 coins, they were off the hook. They were both forgiven. After the story, Jesus asked Simon, which of the two people would love the man more? The one who owed 50 coins or the one who owed 500? Simon replied, I suppose the one who owed the most money. Yup, good answer. Jesus turned to the woman who had washed his feet and said to Simon, do you see this woman? I came into your house. You did not give me any water to wash my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You did not give me a kiss, but this woman has not stopped kissing my feet since I came in. You did not put olive oil on my head, but she has poured this perfume on my feet. So I tell you this, her many sins have been forgiven. She has shown that she understands this by her great acts of love. But whoever has been forgiven only a little loves only a little. Boom. After that, Jesus told the woman her sins were forgiven because of her faith. The woman knew what it felt like to truly be forgiven, and she had to show Jesus how unbelievably grateful she was. What'd you think, fellas?
I gotta say, feet always weird me out. But her just doing that for Jesus without a second thought of what the other people in the room might think, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that just proves how grateful she was to be forgiven. Oh, yeah. You know, I don't think I'm always that grateful, even though I've been forgiven a lot.
It's true. All of us are a work in progress. We all need forgiveness sometime.
Yeah, I need forgiveness every day. Like even today when I was making Brandon dance like a cat.
You were what?
Yeah, that's a great story, Kellen.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.
Dance like a cat?
Yeah. You know how sometimes when you type something in a typewriter and the things you type actually start happening.
That's not a thing.
Okay.
What?
Reveal the question. Oh, hey, the question is, what does it feel like to be forgiven? Let's find out. Brandon, do you forgive me for having a little fun at your expense today?
So weird. Yeah, I forgive you.
It feels good.
Totally. When you have something hanging over your head that you know you should ask forgiveness for, it really does weigh you down. And when that weight is lifted, it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, all of us should know what it feels like to be forgiven. When Jesus died on the cross, he paid the price for all of our sins.
So be grateful for how loving and how forgiving God is.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week for a brand new show.
Let me see that thing.
Uh-oh.
John enters, playing the spoons and break dancing.
You can take my chips, but you can never take my talkies!
Feel delicious.
When I am scared of what I don't know, when I'm afraid, thinking I'm alone, you remind me that I still belong. God, you help me to grow. When I am scared, I don't feel strong. When I'm afraid, something is wrong. You remind me that you're in control. You teach me to know I am learning you. Make me so courageous. You make me curious. There is so much you have given, so much to explore. You're teaching me. I'm gonna be a better me. Scared of what I don't know, when I'm afraid, thinking I'm alone, you remind me that I still belong. Oh yeah, God, you help me to grow. When I am scared, I don't feel strong. When I'm afraid, something is wrong. You remind me that you're in control.
What a great lesson! Thanks for joining me today. Next week, we'll continue our series. See you then!